for 2020.
Wow, it's been a while.
I was late.
So do we need to do that
No, don't worry
again?
about it.
Okay.
I move we approve the minutes.
I second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now for the agenda, I needed approval for the amendment. Do we have an amendment to this agenda?
Actually, I would like, I never make an amendment, but I would, I'll let the clerk.
And I do too.
Okay, so.
We never make amendments, and others do.
Yeah, but after the packet was printed, John McCabe let me know that he made another $10,000 donation to the Arts Education Endowment. So
Did you hear that, Mary Ellen?
it's revised.
John McCabe made another $10,000 donation after the,
You're muted.
We see your lips moving.
Thank you. It's 10,000, not 1,000. Okay, that's.
10,000, so two $10,000 donations have been made since the
So-
last meeting, and I want that to.
so under C,
Change.
so we want CA, right?
Yeah, seven C. Should now read John McCabe donated $8,000 to the Petersburg.
Oh, you want it to be that.
10 on the 31st of October and 10 on the 24th of January.
That's correct.
You got the new one. Some of us did it.
Yeah,
We
I
printed
did
it online.
I did.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
You guys know that.
Okay, and
There's
Barb,
the
what
new-
is your,
Mine has to do with the Friends website.
okay, so where do we want to put that?
I don't know. Under Friends?
Okay, so under 8C, we're gonna have a CA or C1 website. Okay.
Well, we do have an item C, which is Friends of Library
Right.
updates.
But I have something to add to it. The website.
So we want to have C,
It's just a part of C.
part of C or?
C
Yeah,
number
that's fine.
one.
And actually, you could just tell me anytime too. I do the website.
I just want everybody to know about it.
Okay, anything else to add to the agenda? Okay, a motion to approve the agenda for
I'm
today.
going to approve the agenda.
I second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, persons to be heard related or unrelated to the agenda, and since no one's here, do we have any letters or anything, Tara, that might all be left?
I do
Okay.
not.
Now, staff reports. Tara,
This is my favorite part.
Long, because so much has happened. Been so long since we met. So, we have a new online calendar and we're looking at system. We received very short notice from our vendor that it was going to be terminated at the end of the year, and so we scrambled, found a new product, which is, it's okay. We're finding there's some, especially one particular thing about it that I won't go into, that's not great, and it's creating a little bit of extra work for us, so. It's still startup time, we started on the 8th. And maybe we can work out this kink, but I'm not terribly optimistic, because I think the product will need to change, and I think that takes a long time.
so you might have to change the.
Yeah, and we could potentially change or find a way to better adapt to the new structure of this one, so anyway, that went well, and is now on the website, and so what else? We closed Mondays in January. This was on the November meetings agenda, but
Yeah.
we didn't have that meeting, so. Mostly because 2 Mondays were already holidays and we are very, very short staffed. So it's 3 of our clerks are out for more than 2 weeks.
Wow.
Which is a bit of a hard one to staff
Right,
our normal
Yeah.
6-day schedule, so
And there are only 4 clerks, aren't there?
yes.
So 3 are.
Barb is the only one.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, so it's fine. I mean, everyone's like covering it, so it's working okay. Being closed Mondays made this possible.
Mhm.
So we're gonna resume our regular hours on February 5th, and then comes our inventory closure, which is March 4th through the 7th. Which, as you probably all know now, that you've been on board for a while, that we do this every year.
right.
And so that will be happening in March. Library plants, so Beverly Richardson retired from her over a decade caring for these amazing plants. That's why we have such a incredible jungle out there. Beverly is gifted with plants. And so I put this on the agenda just to, and I also put it on the assembly, report, manager's report, just so that, you know, people know the good work that Beverly has done. You're all aware of it and, yeah, how appreciative we are. And I also wondered if maybe a thank you card is in order.
Yeah, that's what I was
Well,
gonna
given
say.
the
Yep.
scope of her commitment to the Plains.
And I was also thinking that maybe the Friends should give her a gift certificate somewhere, so I have that. Do you think that would be
I think
appropriate?
that'd be nice.
Okay, so I'll talk to the board and we can
Mhm.
figure out how much and maybe what we can do, I know you write really good thank yous, but you're busy.
Oh, I don't mind writing things.
So if you write a thank you and leave it at the front desk,
Okay,
people can stop by and sign
Sure.
up for her.
okay.
And we can set a deadline, you have to have it signed, you have to have it signed by, I don't know, I'm leaving the 11th, so we say.
I'm leaving Thursday.
She's leaving
I'm leaving
Thursday.
Saturday.
Well, there you go, we have to have it done by Thursday.
Well, no, you've been
I'm
wanting
just
to know.
Um,
That's not gonna happen.
yeah, I could write it today and drop it off today and
Oh.
then tomorrow people could come. up and
Okay,
sign.
that'd be perfect for me. Then I,
So should we say in 1 week, Mary Ellen?
Could someone sign for me, please?
yeah,
Yes.
Sure.
Okay, so we'll say 1 week from today, we want to have the card signed. And by then, I will have talked to the
Mhm.
board.
can you do a chamber anywhere, any chamber member?
We'll talk about that.
Yeah,
at the board.
okay.
Right.
And another thank you, which is not on here because it came to my attention later, is Brandy Happy at the Children's Center. The Children's Center, Carrie let me know that the Children's Center donated a bunch of toys and things that are fantastic, I guess, very high quality for our children's room.
Oh,
And so, or was it, oh gosh,
So Brandy,
my misspoke, it's Head Start.
yeah, Brandy's at Head Start now.
I misspoke
How do you spell Brandy? Is it
with an I.
with?
Yeah.
Brandy.
so they were just getting new toys.
Yeah, they ended up with more than they needed and they shared
Gotcha.
it with us. And so, oh, we could do 2 thank you cards at one time. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay,
So on with my report, Julianne Thompson is, she's been filling in for Beverly when Beverly traveled over the last few years, and now she's
Oh,
taking over basic care of the plants. And she's
Nice.
also done a ton of work out in our grounds, doing
Mhm.
weeding and stuff.
Maybe we should send her a thank you note
I
for
think-
taking
I
it
think
over.
That would be bad, yes. She's, you know, she's very dependable.
does that make 3?
Yeah, that makes 3. Makes sense. Yeah, that's fine. Let's see, the library slate floors were cleaned and recoated in January. That's a maintenance note. And I don't know if any of you noticed as you walked in the building, there was a musty smell.
I did not.
Yeah, I guess Chris and I already had a sensitive to the building smelling different. And there, we have a little bit of groundwater coming in under the grate in the Arctic entryway.
Oh.
Maintenance department's gonna look into it. There might not be much that can be done. I think it's actually been happening for years. Because around this time of year, we often get a musty smell. We always thought someone was like dropping water in there, or maybe the plants were leaking into it. But we're pretty sure it's groundwater.
Oh, no.
Bummer. So,
there must be something that could be put in it. Let's throw a bunch of lavender in there.
that's right. Yeah, he's
Right?
gonna sanitize it for us, which I really appreciate.
Yeah,
So if you notice a funky smell over the next couple of days in the library, that's all about. Last thing on my report, I talked about this probably about a year ago now, so it might be completely off your radar at this point. I'm part of something called the Libraries in Community Systems Research Project. I've referred to it as the IMLS Research Project at various points as well. And so basically, I'm part of this group of 17 rural libraries across the country that are researching the impact of libraries in their community systems. This is research language. And if you want to know more, there is a link here. It's funded by the Institute for Museum and Library Services as part of the National Grants to Library Program. And we have finally hit on the research phase. We've been building a series of my cohort, which is like 5 different libraries, we've been building these research questions over the last couple of months with the facilitator. And so now I'm going to go and be asking, hoping 20, maybe 30 people in the community to just sit down with me and talk to me about around these questions, not specifically answer these questions, but have a conversation which is generated by some of these questions. And so I would like to start with you guys.
Sure.
And you can answer them in writing. You could just have a conversation with me. I jot down notes. You could do it as a recorded interview. You get to decide. You can also, of course, say no. But I'll be reaching out to each of you individually over the next week or two, and June time. Now that I know everybody's going away, I guess I should tell you.
Yeah.
Or we can even do it when you get back. It's not like it has to be done. I have about 6 weeks to do this.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's really 2 months actually, so.
These are great questions too.
Well, that's good to hear.
I
We're
actually-
doing it in the bubble, right? And we don't really know what they sound like.
Mhm.
It's not really about, like, how is the library doing? This is a different kind of research, and you can see that from the question.
That's what I expected, but this is
Yeah.
more.
We'll have to
Right.
go through our phone books with a highlighter figuring it out.
That's right, it's a hard question
we
here,
know?
isn't it? Because it's so specific.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have trouble answering that question too.
Your criminal stance, I already have partially.
Yeah,
Sometimes you feel like you know more people than you do, and then you're like, you meet somebody and you're like, oh, how long have you been here? And they're like, 20 years, or you realize, and when they hear that, I've been here that long, 25 years, they're like, oh, and then you realize you've never seen that person before, or, you know, and then you see them all the time after that. but-
Yep.
that's true, it's a phenomenon. Yeah. So I'll be in touch about that.
Okay.
Okay, now I'm speaking for Kari.
Right.
I'm speaking Kari's place. So programming is slowed down slightly in December, but honestly, slowing down means there's still plenty of programming. Yeah, it's the amount of programming that's being offered on a pretty consistent basis now is pretty extraordinarily high. So December was like an average month, really didn't slow down. So you want to tell us about Auntie's house? Is that okay?
Well, the picture tells it all.
Yeah, that's a great photo. Excellent.
I should just say that, Auntie's House, I didn't invent it. It actually is something that already exists in Juneau. And it's, sponsored by the Plinkett and Hyde Community Council. And I've been going to it for years and years, and I really miss it. And so I'm trying to recapture or recreate the experience of Auntie's House here. And so this was the first project, and every year, the Juneau Auntie's House, which meets every Saturday. Not just in the winter or not just in the summer, but every Saturday for 3 to 4 hours and have a meal. And so, but one time a year, sometimes twice a year, they'll put together a project that's either for the foster kids or for the elders, or for, and of course, in Juneau it's much bigger, but there's also 30 people making the stockings for
Mm.
$150. So it's much bigger, and this time it was just 15. It was
Wonderful.
doable,
Yeah.
so it was really fun.
Yeah, what a cool project, and the
Yeah.
poster was awesome, looked very good, and if you guys had.
Mhm.
The poster was really good. I saw it when I was in Mexico, popped on my Facebook. Oh, we're doing that, that's awesome. Yeah,
And it was all donated, so, it didn't cost anybody anything.
so another thing Kari participated in was the Jingle Mingle at Sandy Beach. This was the brainchild of Parks and Rec Department, sort of a departure from their usual Santa arrives in a helicopter, Parks and Rec. Does this his thing, and I guess it was extraordinary. I will not read out the entire description here, because you guys have all read it. But basically, it was a lot of city departments, a lot of volunteers all came together for a pretty cool event down there in Sandy Beach. So hopefully we'll have a chance to participate in that again. And Kari, when she decided to bring the sensory table, basically a sound table, and she was like, wonder what that's gonna, well, it turns out to be the hit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. Sand.
Yeah,
The kids love it here when
Yeah.
they're children's room.
yeah. What else is happening? Some other things that we started this fall that you may or may not have heard about is, our own Barb Stelz is doing Yogi's Playground. So this is, yoga for young folks, for kids, very popular. Gus Peterson and Keston Lyons have been doing gaming tournaments, and by gaming, I mean computer gaming, not
Right.
what we think of sometimes as gaming.
Not board
And how-
games.
Not board games.
How is that going?
Good, great.
Because I know some adults that get together with adults, it's mostly adult men.
Yeah.
And they, so, I mean, they really like this gaming thing, so it's great that the library is facilitating
Yeah,
something like that for younger people that, you know, between, I don't know if they're all in high school or not, but between high school and 25, you know, it's kind of bleak here.
Is it
For,
ever?
especially if you don't have a partner, you know, to have something to do that's not centered around. the bars.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's great.
yeah, she did one a few months ago and it went well, not knowing how it was going to go.
Right.
And I guess it went great, and I guess the Kristen are enjoying it and will continue on, so it's great, yeah, it is good. Ashley Laura, her classes, her enamel classes are just like beyond popular.
Whoa.
Filled capacity
Good.
every single time, the waiting is pretty much, yeah,
Good.
and I guess she's a fantastic instructor in these courses, and people are coming out with beautiful little
Yeah,
ornaments. I don't know if you've seen any of them, but. And
I have,
now,
because my daughters did it last year
Yeah.
at some point.
yeah,
Maybe the first one she did.
she's doing a couple of months
I love
now.
the partner one she did, where you make matching pendants.
Yeah.
How sweet is that? Like, go with your bestie or your daughter or whatever, and make little matching pendants. So cute.
Okay, some older things that we've done in the past are still going strong. Curiosity Creates with the Andrea Weathers, Yoga with Karen Malcolm, and Robotics for Kids are still being offered. Still have a pretty good following. In January, we hosted creating a community-based landslide learning system event with the Petersburg Science Series. And that was very popular. 50 people attended the program. Great. And then quite a few people the next day too. So that was great to be a partner with Sunny on that one. And the Build a Better World Reading Challenge starts tomorrow. I say in February here, but it actually starts in January. So
Great.
tomorrow, so start to see publicity surrounding that. It's structured very much like it has been in the past. It's based on, basically it's a philanthropic.
Yeah.
thing where you read and whoever gets the most minutes gets entered into a raffle to give to a charity, a local charity.
It's fabulous.
Yeah. And that is it for this.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for Tara? Okay, well, we're moving on to unfinished business. Which I don't know if we have any. Does anybody have any unfinished business they're dying to talk about? No. Okay, new business. Oh, the election of officers. Woo. Who wants to sit in this chair?
You do. I move that Marilyn, unless somebody else is interested.
Wait,
Yeah,
you
you-
wanted to have a whole slit, oh, we need a chair or vice chair?
Who's the vice chair now?
I don't know.
I think you are.
Oh, I think.
Me,
you're right.
oh. Okay, I would like to.
It's a hard
relinquish-
job.
It is, it's very difficult, but I would love to have somebody else take over the vice chair seat.
Mary Ellen, are you gonna be around? Enough to do that? Vice chair?
Well, possibly, yeah, well, I don't plan on going anywhere once we're home, that's for sure. Other than out in the boat. So
Oh,
yeah, I
right.
can do that. I can do vice chair. Unless somebody else wants to do it. I've done it before, so if someone new.
Right,
Give-
and I also have done this a bit, and so are you sure someone else is on? It's not that hard.
You keep looking at me and I am passing.
Well, I'm just like going
No,
around.
I am also, I way too much.
Okay, all right,
Okay,
you're in, I'm in, okay.
Good.
Now we have to have a motion and vote on it.
Is that the only officers we need?
Yes,
I move that we reelect Marilyn Manish Mucci to chair and Mary Ellen Anderson, yes, to vice chair.
I second
Mhm.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, cool. That was,
Thank you for
it.
that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you both.
yeah.
Two more thank you notes.
No.
That's now 5.
Barb should do it.
No.
Thank you for your
Thank you.
service
And
that
you're
you
gonna
didn't
write-
even know you had.
I just was called to take over if Marilyn wasn't here, which I didn't realize it. It's okay.
So
No problem.
we're on B now, Library Endowments Annual Update. And that is on page 7, about the endowments. And Tara, are you
Oh.
gonna do that, or do you want me to read it off, or what?
Read it, essentially, like every year this time, I get the spendable amounts letters from the Alaska Community Foundation. And, so I update you guys on the balance of our endowments and spendable amounts that are available. And that, by the way, that's not an annual spendable amount, that's a cumulative spendable amount, big difference. So, the general library endowment, little background on that, it was established in 2007 to hold funds for the construction of the new library. It was the library were back then. That was what that started as, and so we've reached that goal, and there's a little bit of money left over, and so we rolled out over basically a general library endowment to support maintenance operations, whatever it is that we need, small amounts of funding for. We have actually not touched that yet. It's like my last resort fund, because I would much rather see it built than spend it. So, but as this building gets older, and it is, things like leaks in the Arctic entry that I might not be able to find money to fix, then we will have this fund that's building by a couple $1,000s every year to tap into. The other endowment, you guys are pretty familiar with, the Art Education Endowment, which now is at a balance of $181,000, probably more since I wrote this, actually. And the spendable amount available is $12,546. And this is the endowment that was established by John McCabe in 2012. But specifically intended for arts and cultural programming at the library. Those are endowments in a nutshell. Does anyone have any questions about them?
So do you feel like that we're spending enough of the spendable amount for our education endowment each year?
Well, as you'll see a little later in the packet,
Right, that we
I'm
have,
ramping it up a little bit.
Yeah.
yeah,
Because it just keeps growing.
right,
That's good.
right.
Yeah.
And every year it rolls over.
Every year it rolls over. Last year, they actually asked us to not spend because the stock market was in
Okay,
a bit of
Yeah,
turmoil.
yeah, turmoil, and so they actually suggested it not, we were allowed to spend on those, but we were a little bit more reserved with our request for the arts education. Now, we made sure programs are funded, but we didn't pull down quite as much, or pull out quite as much as we planned to this year. Because I think this is more like what we should be pulling out, $2,000 to $3,000 even.
So is the amount that's in the spendable amount column, that's the cumulative
Yeah.
balance?
Yeah.
Of what we have available?
Yeah.
and how much does that go up every year? I mean, it increases.
It increases, depends on the year, but the Alaska Community Foundation has a calculation, and I would say I wish I had the exact number
That's
for
okay.
this year in front of me, but I think it was nearly $3,000 this year, so it's going up by about that much every year.
Yeah,
They haven't invested.
They haven't invested.
Yeah, great.
And in which case, that's probably about what we should be pulling down.
Yeah.
Because the idea with this endowment is that we see an impact. It's different from the other endowment. We want this endowment to be where the impacts of it are seen in our services, and so,
Which they are,
yeah, which they are.
beautifully.
I like the
So-
fact they're separate, so you
Yeah.
can see exactly how much is going where.
Yeah,
I should send John a letter as well.
there will be one.
Yeah, we have.
right.
Yeah.
So I have a question. If we, do we want, I thought that we should have a community read at times and then use funds from the art education that but maybe that's something I should come in and talk to you about, how it would work, and then bring it to the board.
Well, the guidelines are in the packet.
Right.
So it's a question of, does it fit the guidelines?
Okay.
First, and then the board would decide if it fits the guidelines.
Okay, I'll look at it. I did look over it, but not with that in mind.
Yeah.
So I'll do that. And
Yeah, and I've
I'll
actually not looked it over with the literacy program in mind either. So I think
Okay.
it's doing.
Okay, now, anybody have any other questions? Okay, we are on donation acknowledgement. And with this, once we discuss it, we do have to have a motion to accept the
Right.
money. So I'll ask for that in a minute. Or do we want to, we can make the motion and then we discuss it. So
I'll
that's
make a
good.
motion to accept John McCabe's two recent contributions to the art endowment, art education endowment.
And I second that motion.
Okay, so now if anybody wants to discuss it, we can discuss it. Or if we just want to just jump up and click our heels and go, wahoo.
What I think is amazing, if you look at what he's actually, it's $151,000.
Right.
And the amount that's remaining in there is 181.
Mhm.
Because these
Because,
things
I
grow.
mean, it's incredible.
But I think other people.
Yeah,
do
oh,
donate
yes.
Too.
Yes,
Right.
other people have, but the majority is,
It's him.
it's, yeah.
It's all him.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
Now, if somebody buys a fish for the wall, that goes into where, Tara, I don't remember,
That is, that goes into the general endowment,
general endowment, okay.
yes.
Unless they want it to go to the other one, right?
So you could specify where you want it to go,
Yeah, well,
or can you?
actually, no, we don't really actually get $100 donations into the endowment that John's created. There was a period of time where we got some donations.
Uh-huh.
One was big one from the Rasmussen Foundation,
Mhm.
few smaller individual donations that wouldn't have qualified, so. And we don't really solicit donations to the fund.
No,
So
but
it's not like, but if somebody fills up that sheet, you know, and says, I want to buy a fish, then that automatically goes into the general endowment.
okay,
Yeah,
And if, the Rasmussen Foundation will they ever again do where we can, match it? And then we can let people know if they donate to the art endowment. Then it would be matched, is that?
I think it's unlikely. It was
Okay.
a very strange thing that happened a few years ago. John McCabe sent a letter to Diane Kaplan, then the CEO of the Rasmussen Foundation, and she did like a little non-official thing specifically for the endowment.
Wow.
And they put $8,000 into the endowment. But it was not for any part of the normal programming, so not
Okay.
like what you would see for the Petersburg Community Foundation, where they do match grants and
Right,
things like that. It was sort of just an oddity. Like, in fact, when John talked to me about it, I said, well, you could try that, but I've never heard her doing anything like that. When was I ever wrong?
well, that's great. Okay,
Yeah.
I just wondered if we could.
How
Okay,
much did they do? $8,000.
Because I'm sure he's inspired them, you know, like with his, hey, look what I've done.
no
Yeah.
That's
kidding.
what he's gonna do, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was great, yeah. Not only from himself, but he, you know, works at the other, you know, other people that do this.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
okay, perfect. So, let's have the vote now. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we will accept $20,000 from John McCabe. Once again,
I sat down to.
And I will write another thank you note, because when I took this thing at 4 Acre, they said that you should thank people who helped 7 times.
Yeah.
Some of them came
Yep.
in the grocery store or, you know, but, so if you ever do see someone, like if you bump into Brandy Happy, it's really good to thank them in person.
Mhm, right.
then they feel seen and they feel what they've
Mhm.
done
Mhm,
is
is
really
seen.
is important.
Yeah.
It encourages them to keep up with
Right.
that kind of.
Mhm.
Okay, the next one is D, and it's Art Education Endowment Funding Request. Tara's gonna spend some of the money. Yahoo.
Okay, so. What is that? Warren Pearson wants to come back and do some rainforest writers workshops. We're super excited about that. He's been so darn busy. Then he finally feels like he has a little time in his
A
schedule.
lot of newspaper.
Yeah, I know. I'm amazed he has time to do these, but he's excited, and wants to do it. So the first request is for $375 for workshop with Orin. The next one is watercolor workshop with Kia Riley. This is a weekend-long intensive, we're about 13-hour workshops, very popular. We're listing $400 for that.
And,
It's actually on the agenda.
Tara,
Yeah.
just on the, where it says 3 sessions, so it's 375 for the 3 sessions or each session, 375.
Altogether,
Okay,
yeah, altogether.
That's a total.
That's the total.
and you said Pia is doing 13 hours
Yeah,
for the 3 sessions or each session?
13 hours for, and that equals 3 sessions.
Okay,
Yeah, and $400 doesn't cover it. That's just a part of the cost.
It's a
Fees and.
Yeah.
right.
Mhm.
It doesn't seem like enough to pay her.
Yeah, it will be by the time we collect the fees for the class.
Oh, because you're collecting fees on
Yeah.
top of that.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
And something new, paper flowers with Kathy Reamer. We have some paper flowers before Andrea Weathers taught a really spectacular class, probably 6 years ago. Making paper flowers on anyone who had the pleasure of taking them, but it's amazing what you can do with paper flowers now. It's not like when you were in elementary school.
Yeah, and it was the tissue paper and they melted.
Yeah.
They look
If
just
you
like
breathe
real.
on it.
Yeah, yeah, pretty neat. And $500 is requested for that, and this is a teen and adult program. And then, what we were calling Torching for Two, which is now sort of, 2 people come together and make a pendant. Usually it's a, child and a parent come together and make matching pendants. We want to do, one other one like that because they've been so popular.
Yeah, I wanna sign up for that. I move that we fund all of these.
I second that, yeah.
Okay, and
Mhm.
then I just have one other question on the $500 with Kathy. Does that include supplies for?
So it's a combination of supplies and.
Okay.
It's perfect, yeah.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, all in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, there we go. Now we're on to, the 25 borough budget calendar.
Oh, goody.
And that is on page, let's see, that's there, page.
Well,
Page 12. Yes, there it is. Okay, it's on page 12.
on the back of,
On the back of page 11, yeah.
it's after page 11.
So does anybody have any questions for Tara, or did you want to kind of go through it with us, Tara, or are we good?
Well, I'll just give you guys a quick update. Our budget has probably not going to have gone up as much, in my 20 years here, as it will probably go up because of a combination of utilities. We talked about the electrical issue. I just saw the January electrical bill and it was like $4,800. And I think last January was 27.
Oh, my God.
So it's our electrical bill is just,
Because of the rates going up, or?
no, we had a new meter installed.
That's right, it
The
was,
old
I
meter
guess we
was
didn't
faulty.
probably know that we were.
We were not,
They're reading the meters.
we were getting a discount.
Yeah, we didn't realize, that's
And we didn't
right.
know it, so there's the 10% that I think
Mhm.
that it's actually gone up for everybody, and then there's the new meter.
Mm.
So that's probably gonna be about a $10,000 increase to the budget. Along with a few other significant things, wages.
Oh, yeah.
Last year's wages increase happened after the budget was passed, and so we're gonna see that year, those wages in the next budget, as well as whatever came out of the union negotiations for this year. So we're probably gonna see a pretty significant increase. Healthcare always goes up. I think that's pretty much the nature of that beast. And so there's something, the one other thing that's come up recently, I'm not sure we'll see this in the budget or not, we will see it eventually, is that we're part of the Alaska Library Consortium. And, because we are what's called a net lender, we send out more stuff than we pull in from the consortium. There's always been a grant through the state of Alaska that offset our cost to participate in the program. Our costs are about $4,000. We've almost paid nothing, $125 a year, something is what we're paying to actually subscribe and be part of this consortium program. And I think that funding from the state will be going away. And so at some point, we were gonna have to put that $4,000 back into our budget. So I don't think it's this year, but I'm not exactly sure.
So you think it's going away because the legislature is not gonna fund it?
It's some changes in the Department of Education and how they're funding the library grants, which I'm not really attuned to what those things are.
And does it have anything to do with the new director? Okay,
I don't know.
because libraries are under,
There was some massive restructuring in that department, and so
Mhm.
everything was kind of being reassessed,
we're
reevaluated,
under fire.
and there's some changes happening, so.
Yeah,
That might affect ours, grant, which is also the kind of cost of this.
So what you're saying is our cost is higher because we're lending out more material from our library? Is that?
No, our cost is lower because we are lending out more material. Our base cost,
Mhm.
which is based on like population
Yeah.
and collection size, is $4,000, but we don't pay it
Right,
because,
okay, so
because
it's,
we're that lender.
okay.
and then when it comes to where that might be a possibility, then we might have to talk about. Obviously, we have a better collection than a lot of other
Mhm.
libraries, and that's why we're sending out more, right?
Yeah, and as those of you who've been on the board for a long time know,
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
crazy when we first joined the consortium. I think that was 2015.
Yeah.
It was like Anchorage was just like this vortex and all of our stuff.
Mhm.
That's really changed. We lend only slightly more than we borrow, but we used to lend like exponentially more than we borrowed.
Right,
Because a lot of the other libraries have changed their collection development practices as
oh,
well.
good,
And they're trying to tweak the system right now. This is administrative stuff that I won't go into detail, but they're trying to tweak the ALC, the algorithms that, you know, make certain books match certain requests. They're trying to do some tweaking, doing like a holds management project, which we hope will be launched in the next couple of months, which will also bring that down. So our participation is very valuable in that consortium, and $4,000 is still a very fair price tag.
Mhm.
and then I saw about a month ago that the USPS is going to be raising rates.
Yes.
Especially in Alaska
Right.
for the priority
Mhm.
boxes.
Oh, good, we use media mail.
You don't use, oh, okay, perfect. I was like, really? So it's
Yeah.
Hawaii and
I
Alaska.
saw that.
Because
Keen
we're
ones.
not really states, I guess, I don't know,
Yeah.
anyway.
And it's funny because nothing here actually travels priority in the way that
No.
they say it.
No,
because-
they don't.
It doesn't.
No, it's
Yeah.
like normal.
So,
I've had vendors say, I'm sorry, we only saw the people that are in the United States. Like, well, we actually are a state.
yeah, and now that's why
We're not-
Amazon has been shipping things on the barge, which I didn't know
Yeah.
they even knew that existed. But anyway, your mail that is slow right
Yep.
now is becoming, it's
the way
on
it
the
is.
barge. Which, you know, that's fine.
A question, for what we lend out, is it majority books or DVDs or any idea what the?
You know, it used to be weighted very heavily on the side of DVDs, but not anymore.
Oh,
It's
okay.
pretty. Something from cookbooks to novels to
Mhm.
DVDs. DVDs are, as no surprise, kind of on the,
Yes,
they're weenie.
yes.
It's amazing we still have that size of a collection.
Yeah.
It's still so popular. It's,
Okay.
yeah, people are streaming now.
Mhm.
But we have a good collection, you guys do a
Yes,
good
we
job
do.
with that.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions about the budget? Okay, thank you, Tara. So now we're moving on to 8, discussion item, safety committee report. And you get the represent Kari again?
Yeah, and I'm sorry about the typo at the top. It is not, this was not for on the 30th of 2023. I have the date totally wrong.
And that is on.
The year's wrong, the date's wrong. That's okay.
That's on page 13.
Right on
everybody.
page 13.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 24.
So we talked a little bit about this. No, we haven't talked about it because it was in our,
It's gonna be in,
it's gonna be in that fall
Okay,
meeting.
yes.
Okay, so,
we haven't,
reel back.
Yeah, I was surprised, I was like, I felt like we did talk about it, and I thought maybe this was like from that.
Yeah,
I have, time doesn't
no,
make any sense to me, and this could have happened a year ago. And I would have thought the same thing as it just happened like a few months ago or 2 months ago. So this part confused me, so I felt like we did talk about it.
yeah.
I do feel we did talk about, it,
Yeah,
but Kari was going to go to more meetings
Mhm.
yeah.
It's okay.
and take more training.
This is the update.
Here's kind of where we're at now. So the big ones are the API recommendations, the Alaska Public Entities Insurance recommendations about having two staff on duty at all times to ensure that staff members are not alone in the event of
I know.
emergency. We did talk about this one.
Yep,
you know,
we did.
Yeah, and as we talked about, it would require a substantial increase to the budget for additional staffing. And I can only tell you what the logistics would be of trying to keep our 52-hour week scheduled with with people getting to for
Mm.
going on vacation. So we have had in this time, and I mentioned it later, we're doing a whole bunch of other things, basically. We're doing the realistic things, as many as we can. We had a staff meeting in the fall where we came up with a bunch of ideas. At that staff meeting, Chief Care came and had a wonderful frank conversation with us about
Good.
safety and how they're basically there to back us up all the time, anytime. And I think that was good. We do know that the police always been very supportive of the issues here and very aware of the issues, but I think it was probably time for everybody to be reminded that we're not overreacting. If you feel like you need to call the police, you gotta call the police.
And you have some regulars that have to be paid attention to.
Yeah, and so we continue to use our incident log for that, and we communicate with the police department if we have concerns about a particular person or a particular thing. And they're as helpful as we can hope for the busy department themselves.
Right.
So that was great, and we talked a little bit about de-escalating people, what not to do. Basically, someone's sleeping in the library, don't wake them up. Because we have a no sleeping policy that this stuff shouldn't be, and everybody's smart enough not to do that. There's a funny thing we do where we drop books on the floor from far away.
Wake them up, yeah.
So what happens, Tara, if it's time to close the library, and if someone's sleeping, do you have the police would come?
Oh, yeah,
and
we
do that?
would just call out.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's good.
Probably well before we close, we would call an officer about that, because I don't want to wait till you close. and-
That's right.
No.
Yeah, so that's great. It was nice to have a refresher. He's given us pepper spray. And given us lots of other sort of little techniques that you don't think about. Like if you're worried about your safety in the building, there's something happening inside, shut off the lights.
Oh,
Small
yeah.
things,
Right.
in a fishbowl.
Yeah.
Wait, say that part again.
If you're concerned about your safety and you're in the library, a staff person's either in the staff room and there's something happening outside and they're concerned about, to shut off the lights, all the lights in the library, so that people can't see in the building
Can you do that?
easily, yeah.
Oh, okay, because I know some of the lights are like controlled down in LA or something, some of the systems in the,
Not ours,
not yours,
Yeah.
okay, good.
yeah.
And then do you have a one-way window film on the,
Just came from Amazon. so
Ooh.
We're gonna be
okay,
installing the one-way window film. We have a panic button, but we're having a heck of a time getting this thing set up. Panic button, what I wanted to do, rather than do like a subscription-based home security type thing,
Mhm.
I wanted to just get a device that we purchased once. And they need a SIM card in them, because you can't rely on Wi-Fi for the communication piece.
Right.
And so the problem is that the first SIM card we got couldn't get activated, so AT&T just sent us a brand new SIM card. And now the problem is that it's, you can't speak into this thing. It's only basically a recorded message saying that the library needs the police department to respond immediately to. And so we have to get this chip into a device where we can record. Voicemail,
Oh,
and
my God.
Beth is on vacation. Her husband has the only phone. that we can do. Yeah, so it's been a technical nightmare, but I think we might be on the home stretch of getting it set up.
good.
So.
You need an
Yeah.
AT&T phone?
Not just a phone, no, it really needs
Okay.
to be something people literally just press, because in the event of emergency.
Oh, no, I meant to record the message.
It has to be a specific kind of phone. I think it can only be a 13,
For heaven's
12 or 13, and I have an 11.
So, let me see what it says.
Well, we don't necessarily want to pop a SIM card into
Someone else's.
No.
someone else's phone, but Casey got a new phone, so we use his phone. So that's one thing that's in the works. Be great when that finally comes on board. We requested active shooter training from the police department, but they're a little busy, and actually at the March staff meeting, I have a little video we're all gonna watch just to Because there are some pretty key, simple things we can
Mhm.
all be aware of.
I'm curious, I'd like to know more.
I would like to, yeah.
There's a great video, University of California, Run, Fight, Hide, I think, or something. It's just an 8 minute, it's basically on a campus, what you do. It's disturbing. I mean, it's all in part of cartoon. But it's just crazy weird that we're even watching something like this, potential it could happen. It's worth watching.
Yeah.
But I want staff to watch it as a group because I think we're all gonna be totally weirded out by it, the potential. And what kids on campus do they have to think about?
Well, yeah,
It's sobering.
it's horrifying.
And so we have a, local girl from, Megan Madison Parker. She was at Chapel Hill. She just went there and had only been there 2 weeks when the shooter incident happened. And she was in a closet calling her mom and dad. And then 2 weeks later, the next shooter, she ended up in the same closet. Yeah,
Is she still there?
yeah, because she's doing her graduate work and, she's on a full rate there.
We have a friend who,
It's-
daughter got accepted to Columbia. She went the day after she got there, somebody committed suicide. That's somebody she knew, so she decided, I think I want to take a year off before I,
Well, this
so
is,
she
yeah,
went.
anyway, it's amazing how
It's
it
just so
actually
sad.
impacts our world and our
Yes, it
circle
does.
without it happening
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Yeah.
we'll do a little training until we can have the police do formal training with us. And we've been doing a bunch of sort of communications, sort of light communication stuff as well. 3 people on staff taking Communication is More Than Words, which is an online course, and we're all reading The Safe Library, Crucial Conversations and Verbal Judo. Verbal judo is pretty fun. It's like by a cop. So. How
Are
did
these books we can check out?
Yeah, is this something we can,
we may, I'm sure we can find them for you, even if they're not in our collection.
Yeah.
We have staff copies and I got people like Audible copies, so they can listen to them. Yeah, some of the stuff's pretty funny, but I think it is actually really helpful to just sit back and reflect on that communication moment,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
that might be, I mean, it's the most important thing that my staff do, really, is communicate. Trying to make that go smoothly is super important. So what else? Talked about pepper spray, window film is going to be installed soon. Yeah, and yeah, Kari's participating in the borough committee and there's some other things that are coming up with that, which aren't really that important to our safety and security, which I'll mention briefly, which is OSHA safety data sheets for chemicals. Alec knows what I'm talking about.
Oh, that sounds,
Now that the painting of the fish is done.
That's right, we're glad the painting of the fish is done. We're doing a few little things like when Bryce did the floors.
Uh-huh.
You gotta take that, we normally would store the stuff.
Oh, okay.
I said, we're never storing stuff for contractors anymore. We're taking taking a little more care with our substances, even though the majority of substances that we have in the library do not fall under the OSHA.
Wow.
Guidelines for what you need a safety data sheet for. So,
So is this, committee she's on still meeting once a month? They have regular meetings, right? Okay.
And it just has the feeling of an amazing, useless burden.
yeah, I think that's how it felt for Murray.
yeah.
And we're trying to make it slightly less burdensome, I think,
Yeah.
come through that.
Cause it's too good. I mean, it's like, you have to be a professor of hazardous materials.
Yeah, and what's a hazardous material? Is it the ink in my pen?
A copy machine.
I got
No,
me-
the stuff that
yeah,
comes on.
Yeah, it's a can of worms that we're
Yeah.
working through to try.
Oh, I just saw that the background checks on volunteers.
Oh, yeah, good for you over that.
I think,
Yes.
is that just like the kind of, isn't there sort of an easy one you can do in town that's, cause we talked about this with the background check. Like, there's a way to do it that's pretty routine easily, where we just fill out stuff or something?
The borough actually does it for us.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so human resources that, which is saying, this form. I think we have the person fill out, and our team volunteers are exempt from this process. So, not just volunteers, but also contractors, so
Mhm.
I was going down the list of all the people we hire to do, classes. As well, to make sure that everybody's can pass the check. Yeah, this
That's
is
good, though.
This is an easy one to
So,
implement.
having just done a background check myself, is there, do we have a written policy on that, so that maybe how long a background check is good for?
Yeah, we don't.
So,
Oh, and how many people can see it?
Who can see it?
Right, who and how, and yeah.
You
A
know,
background
the
check.
ones we've done, I haven't seen it. Becky in HR says you're good to go.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, so,
yeah, so I mean, if I come to teach a class at the library, for instance, do I need to do another one?
Yeah,
Even though I just done one? So
That's a
that,
good question.
yeah.
maybe each year or something, but
Yes.
people are doing, requiring background checks a lot now.
and is it good for every place you go in the borough, or you have?
I think you'd have to do it for each department
Ah,
because of the timeline, nothing else. because-
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a full-time job, just figuring all that out.
Keep it quiet. But I'm happy to see this, because I think
Yeah,
it's.
it's overdue. I think.
Mhm.
Okay, moving along to discussion item B, which is the Attorney General's letter that went out to all school and public libraries. And he just wants, as I read it. I don't know, anyway, what do you think, Tara?
I have a
would like to
question
hear what
when
you
you-
guys think.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I was reading part 3,
Mhm.
state or federal education laws. Okay, if apparently a school library is handled differently than a public library. If it's in a school, it is important that you are aware that your library must provide all library records identifying a blah, blah, if a guardian wants the records for a minor. But it doesn't say anything about the public library.
And that's where my quick note is.
We
too,
don't
public
keep
library.
records, right?
It doesn't say anything about public library.
It doesn't.
That was my question.
There is, language in the statute specifically with regards to library records.
But it's only school libraries.
No, he's only referenced that. He hasn't included, lots of things, but, he hasn't included that particular thing. And I would, at our next meeting, I will bring,
Good.
let's do a refresher
Thank you.
on that.
Yeah.
I'll get the language for the state guidelines and then show you how our policy. looks.
Perfect.
It's been a while since the board looked at that,
Yeah,
obviously,
yeah,
and it's probably a great time to revisit it and make
Mhm.
sure that we feel good about the policy.
Good.
Have we had anybody suggest that we pull any books?
Just a few years ago, that older man. asked
Yeah.
us
Yes,
if
that
we
once,
needed
that
to
one
refer them to our policy,
Yeah.
so that
Mhm.
seemed to be
Mhm.
pretty straightforward.
I thought that was handled really well.
Right. Okay, does anybody else have any other questions on that one?
No.
Okay, moving along, now we are on.
Oh, friends, okay. Just real quick,
Friends.
we had an absolutely tremendous book sale on Saturday, October 7th. We brought in over $800 just in 2 hours. And a lot of, half of that was silent auction.
Good.
So really good. And then December 9th, we had a pop-up puzzle and map sale just in the library, right inside the door. And I don't remember what day of the week December 9th was.
It was a Friday.
Friday, was it?
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It wasn't a Saturday. We brought in $68 just for $1 a puzzle. I mean, okay.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and then we had the book sale on January 5th. We had it on a Friday because somebody had already, I wasn't fast enough getting word in that we wanted our usual first Saturday. So we have it on Friday and we brought in a little over $300. So that's still good. Okay, and then I asked Tara, she gave me a figure of what the front desk has collected from January 1st, 23 to November 7th, 23, just at the front desk for, anybody comes in, makes donations, wants to use a credit card to buy a used book, $1,300.
Nice.
That's great.
That's great.
Yeah.
So how much does that all add up to?
Well, I didn't bring the total amount that, I want to say it's around $10,000 that the Friends has contributed. Does that sound about right, Marilyn?
That we have in our bank.
Yeah, but it's how much was brought in this year? Substantial,
That's fantastic.
I know,
Thank you.
yeah. And we did a mailing. These just went out, and I got a call from somebody who received this, and they went on the website and they said, I can't pay on the family. The family amount of $20. She wanted to do it online. Didn't work. So I got a hold of Tara. She fixed it immediately, and Monday morning it was working again. So I really appreciate, anyway, and thinking about it, is there a button? I haven't looked at the website, so is there a button at the bottom says, if you have any problems, please please press here or something? Is that something that would be on the Friends?
The Friends is part of our library website.
Right.
And our library website contains all the information in that.
Okay, on that, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
But I'm glad she let us know. because
Yes.
That was a little glitch from some work that we did in the fall and then.
well, and then I thought, well, how many other people tried to,
I can tell it was just one other person. It was, and that person I followed up with an email, as soon as it was.
how did
fixed
you know,
today.
how did you know that?
Because you have to submit the form first and then it takes you to the payment platform. And so
Okay.
I had the
We live
form.
in an electronic age.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah.
There's
So
nothing
and she,
secret anymore.
yeah, and she went through and did it online. So
Yeah, okay,
We both agree that it works now.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
That definitely works, they've been able to pay. Anyway, so that was and my friend had no idea what to do about it, but she knew I was on the board, so she called me.
Yeah.
No. And I didn't really know what to do about it either, but
Yeah, it's on our website. It's
Yeah.
really got some pages.
yeah, okay.
You did what I would have done. I called Tara.
That's right.
Tara likes that.
Yeah.
Tara needs to know what's problems.
Anyway, that was what I wanted to bring up for the membership, but
Okay.
the other thing is that we did have a annual meeting. And one thing that's under discussion right now is if we want to change how we do the book sales. There's no way we can do it once a month anymore. So do we want to do it 4 times a year? So that is now under discussion with the Friends.
Okay.
But, and we're having a meeting in March, because that's when I'm back and Tara's back and the library is not closed. But it's a good thing that you're doing the cleanup, or what do you call it? Do you go through all the book inventory? You know, because any books that you have then can go in the April 6th book sale, which is the next book sale.
Probably we won't have too many because.
Okay, well, however many you have.
We won't have anywhere to store them between now and April. Yeah.
Well, there's two
From
carts,
March to April.
there's 2 carts back there that are completely empty right now. Where you
Two
could store
carts?
them.
Two
Mhm,
Friends. In
in the staff room.
yeah,
They're
incoming
empty.
donations too, we'll just need to
Yeah,
sort of.
but right now it's empty. Every book is out. I did
Go
that.
on
this morning.
vacation.
Yeah,
They're not going through stuff.
right. They're not. Anyway, that's all I really have to say, that the book sales have been incredible. I mean, it just astounds me how much money we've been able to bring in.
Great.
They're well received, and little kids. There's this one, real quick, this one little kid she has her money in her hand and she's got a stack of books and she says, okay, these are all children's books. This is the little girl talking. These are all children's books and they're 25 cents a piece. And this is a map and it's 25 cents. And this is a hardcover book. It's $1. She knew exactly how much money she owed.
That's adorable.
Isn't it? Yeah,
That's great.
yeah.
It's like we lost Mary Ellen.
Uh-oh.
We did, yeah.
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 that's what I thought.
So I just have one question. Why can't there be book sales every month?
because there's not I don't have enough help and
Yeah.
we don't have room to store the books and there's a myriad of,
I just wanted to know.
yeah.
It's the people to do the volunteer work.
Yeah, and it's setting up the sale takes, you know, Tara had, the room is reserved that, almost that whole week in April to just set it up.
Yeah.
Oh.
So we're talking about how we can.
Recruit more members.
Mhm. But then getting people to volunteer and show up is, the regular people that show up do show up, but anybody new, it's.
I know,
It's affecting every organization.
Come to a lot of boards, or just having been on boards,
Yep,
it's just, it's like.
Every
actual
it
thing to
it
find-
is. It's
to
the way it
find
is.
and provide.
mhm, yes, it is.
There's always been intentions, but it's that follow through that you really need. And it's hard, people are really busy, but
Oh, yeah,
it's,
I know.
there's a lot, we wanna do a lot in our community. And it takes a lot of volunteering to do
Yeah.
it, and that stuff.
And a lot of people say, okay, when's the next book sale? You know, so it's April 6th, if anybody, 11 to 1,
Okay, thanks.
yeah.
Okay, we're doing great. It's 1 o'clock. We finished our business, the only, yes, Ally.
One quick thing back on the, letter from the attorney.
Oh,
And is that, do you feel like that you've got enough support at this time on the issue? Or are you getting, that it hasn't really substantially developed into anything, either from our city attorney or the
good
manager?
question.
Or, because we just went right by it,
Yeah, we did.
and that's okay.
I informed the manager and the attorney, he informed the attorney of it as soon as it came to light, this letter was circulating. Just keep them, keep an eye on it, never really got an opinion one way or the other, sort of. And there, as you all saw after that, there was a series of news stories and things, that stuff popped out. And then now for things. In the background, the library community is, of course, taking it quite seriously, in terms of our response to it. And so, well, one example of the sorts of things we're doing, we've had the library director's leadership group has had a few meetings. And then they're in contact with the American Library Association's Intellectual Freedom Committee. And so we've been talking about it quite a bit. And actually, I'm going to attend a training session on Thursday that's offered specifically to Alaska librarians on this issue from the Freedom to Read Foundation.
From the what?
Freedom to Read Foundation, so,
Oh, freedom to read.
yeah.
Is that what you said?
National organization. So there's a lot that's happening kind of behind the scenes about.
Okay, very nice. There's one of the people that put on the educational seminar for people that are on boards. Who does-
4 acre.
Have they, are they,
No, they're not really, they don't really delve into library specific things like this. The American Library Association is definitely the go-to organization for stuff like this. Yeah, and if you guys ever feel like you want any external training, just let me know. I can, yeah, I mean, we did review our policy in 2022, about 2 years ago. We did an update our intellectual freedom collection development policy. And if you guys feel like it's a good time to revisit it, we could.
We have a good policy in
Yeah.
place.
We did.
I remember it was the first thing I went, before I joined the board, it was the first thing I looked at was that policy, and I think it's really good too. But I also, I'm glad you brought that up again, because if anything does happen, which I suspect that it won't, but I've got my own personal opinion about just tooting our own horns. But that doesn't mean that will just go away quietly. There might be some things brewing under the surface that we just don't see yet. But, call on us even in between meetings, especially if there needs to be letters or phone calls or
Yes.
legislatures in session. Those, I mean, they just went back into session this month, so, or last week.
Did anybody have a chance to listen to that podcast?
I did.
I haven't finished it, but I thought it was fascinating that this whole thing's been generated by like 10.
Yeah. And there's a lot more on YouTube and podcasts, and if you do a kind of a elementary search, there's a lot of information about who's starting it, and even on a local basis. I mean, And I'm afraid that some libraries, both school and public, are reacting,
Panicking.
they're panicking when only one call comes in.
Exactly.
And people aren't
Right.
reading the books.
Yes.
I know. How
Power
about
of the
that?
minority that's
Mhm.
permeating
Mhm.
many areas and arenas in our country. That is scary,
It is scary.
yeah.
I have to, run, guys.
Yes,
I
so,
move that we adjourn.
no, we have to talk about the next board meeting.
Oh, next meeting.
It's the next meeting is the 27th, Tuesday, 27th. I will not be here. I will be in Mexico.
Where is,
I
when is
can
it?
try to, I'll find out if I can call in because this place says, oh, we have a place you can work. So we'll
Well, we
see.
have a vice president that can share.
Yes,
There you go.
And I'll do the call for quorum 2 weeks ahead of time, like I always do. We can always-
Perfect.
and I will be here. When are you back, Marilyn?
Actually, March 6th.
Okay, I move we do.
I second that.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
It's been 30 years ago.
Yeah.
When I was-
It's-